Hello YouTube, this is Keith Kevin Kent. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Today it's part 3 of the limited series that I'm doing. 2019 was a big knife year for me. I bought more knives in 2019 than I ever had before or any other year before 2019. And so we're counting down to the new year, might even go into the new year week with my purchases from 2019. Here's the other thing. In 2019, I had sold a lot of knives in 2018 when I trimmed my collection. So some of the knives I really missed. So I got new versions of those knives. I tried a lot of different knife makers and distributors as well. And in some ways, it was a big classic kind of month as well. Spyderco worked with a lot of distributors to distribute a lot of hard to get knives. But I'll tell you something else that happened. Some of the knives that I love, and I love my Microtech out the front automatics, they actually introduced new knives, new model knives. And so did Chris Reeve, and we'll get to that later. So let's talk this episode of the 2019 buys. We're going to talk about the Microtech out the front automatics that I bought. I only bought out the front automatics from Microtech. So let's talk about them. Let's start with one of the newer knives. Oh, this knife. It sort of drove me crazy. This is the Microtech Dierack. The Microtech Dierack. D-I-R-A-C. In the dagger. Dagger blade with CTS 204P steel. In fact, all of the Microtechs that I bought in 2019 were in 204P steel. It's funny. When I bought a bunch of Microtechs 3 years ago, they all were in LMAX steel except for one of them. I drooled over this knife. I have to admit, I hated how Microtech, and I love the company, I love how they market. I hated how they introduced this knife. What they did was they introduced what did they call it? A proof knife? Like a proof of concept knife, and they gave a lot of distributors like one knife or something. A lot of the distributors did videos about it, and then you'd go look them up and none of them were available. Everyone from Blade HQ on down. And then they also distributed to some of the YouTube folks, you know, the big folks, not little folks like me. And so people were actually doing videos on a knife that wasn't available. It pissed me off, excuse my language. That's the thing about collecting. You know, the thing about collecting anything, whether it's knives, first edition books, I'm talking about stuff I collect, coins, movies, whatever. There's a lot of joy and a lot of frustration. And I was really frustrated about this knife. It finally was released, and I was happy to get it. I love this. This is in the size that I like too. You'll see it. It's in, I always mispronounce the Trudon, but I'm going to call it the Trudon. The Trudon, the UTX 85, just the perfect size for these knives. And the other thing that's special about it, as you can see, instead of having the trigger on the side, they have it flat on the scale, on the show side. I love that too. I didn't know what I was missing. Usually you would fire it like this, and yes, you could handle it, but on this side, on the flat side, it's just so much better. The trigger action is wonderful. You could flip it all day. I also love that it's not just straight down. You see, it goes in and comes out. Goes in and comes out. It just fits great in the hand. Everything about this knife is wonderful. I was frustrated about not getting a chance to put my hands on it, but I was happy when it came out. Double-edged dagger, the Dierack, CTS 204P, 2.9 inches. I love that. Right around that 3-inch mark. 2.9 inches, 7.2 inches total, 2.3 ounces. You see the clip, right hand clip. Their clips are never beautiful from Microtech, but I love it. The glass breaker. I also like Microtech because they put all the information that you need right. You see that? Right on the blade. And they also give you birth dates and everything right on the clip. And the number and everything. So I really love that. The Microtech Dierack was one of the buys in 2019. Here's another new one. I saw this around and couldn't wait for them to finally release it. A new out the front, just like the Dierack, a new model. This is the Exocet. The Exocet from Microtech, out the front. They call this a California legal knife. I don't know if out the front automatics are legal in California or not, but it's a small knife is what they're talking about. A 2-inch blade. This is a fat dagger, right? 2 inches, 5.6 inches total, weighs 2.7 ounces only. Of course, it's aluminum, carved in scales on the show side, fat clip on the back side. And what's great about that is it's a wonderful money clip. I've actually carried this in my pocket with bills, my credit card inside of the bills, just my driver's license inside of the bills, just a nice money clip. See the lanyard? It's thick too, still has a glass breaker because it comes to a nice rounded end. I like this Exocet. Just a real nice, another new knife coming from Microtech. I love my out the front, and I'm really thrilled when I get a new knife. Look, I fell in love with the UTX 70 the first time I saw it. I had bought 2 UTX 70s, 3 actually. First I bought 2 of them. One of them was actually a custom UTX 70. I trimmed those, which means I sold it to one of you guys. I miss those knives. So I bought another UTX 70 in black, but that was in 2018. In 2019, they came out with these different colors, and I was still, even though I have another UTX 70, I had to get it in this blue. Tanto blade. The UTX 70 is one of the smaller sizes, 2.4-inch blade. This too, CTS 204P. 5.6 inches total. Only weighs 1.2 ounces. Flips like a dream. Oh, I miss my custom one. I'm happy one of you guys have it, but I miss it. Glass breaker again. And the clip, deep carry clip. I really like my UTX 70s. And I have to tell you, one of my favorite knives is UTX 85. It's 85% of the size of the Microtech Ultratech. So it is that smaller size, but like I said, for me, it's right in that nice size. You know, I told you about the new Dierack. It's at 2.9 inches. This is at 3.1 inch blade. Another Tanto and another Microtech with 204P steel. I just love it. The action's great. One reason I picked this up, this is another one of those where I sold my original UTX 85 during a trimming, I think in 2018. Missed it so much, bought another one in 2018. And then I saw this one. It came out with this new distress colors. I love that stuff. Some people say, why? Just use it. It'll get distressed. I just like the creativity of this, using this distressed. I love it. I think this is a great knife. I love the color, this red color. And of course, I love this knife. UTX 85 with distressed green. Distressed green. Why did I say that? Distressed red. 204P steel. Tanto blade. I really like this knife. Again, hits that sweet spot. And then, yes, it's named after a dinosaur. Everyone tells me what to say about it, but I'm going to call it the Trudon. You know why I'm mispronouncing it? For years, I had a Trudon and a combat Trudon, and I never heard anyone pronounce it. And those that did called it Trudon. So every time I saw it, I said that. It is not the correct how you say it. So there's a million YouTubers who have one. Go check it out. I'm going to call it a Trudon, or I'll be spitting all over myself throughout the rest of this video. But I love the Trudon. I really do. Again, it's right in that category that I keep talking about. 3-inch blade, another Tanto. I love the Tanto. The fuller on the blade. Yep, CTS 204P steel. This is nice too. It looks black, and it's really this wonderful dark blue that I just think is great with the bronze hardware. It's a classy kind of shade, and then you have the blade. Oh man, just a real nice knife. It's the Trudon 3-inch blade, 7.6 inches total, only 3 ounces. There you have the glass breaker. Just a real nice version of it, the Trudon. I missed the Trudon. I owned one before. I trimmed it. A lot of these, you hear me, right? In 2019, I replaced a lot of the knives that I trimmed for you guys. The big beast. This is the Combat Trudon. I had a Combat Trudon, and I sold it. It was one of the first knives I sold it to. I was so happy. There was a wonderful viewer who sent pictures of it. I believe he was a policeman too. I think he had his police garb on. I was so happy that he got it. I really was happy that he got it. I think it's Digicam and everything. But I saw this with distressed blue and that wonderful treatment on the blade, the 204P steel, and I had to get my Combat Trudon. And I think if you're going to get a Combat Trudon, it needs to be with a combat blade, a double-edged dagger. I just believe it. Let's stop pretending like this is EDC. Can you use it as an EDC knife? Sure, it cuts. Two-sided blade, but this is a tactical knife, and I just love it. I love the ridges in it. I love having the baby brother right next to it with the Trudon. This has a 3.8-inch blade. The total length is 9.5 inches, so you can see a little bit different than the baby brother, right? Just a real nice knife, though, and the pair is wonderful. I love that blue. I love the distressed colors. I do. 5.3 ounces. So this is a beast of a knife that I really like. Great action from the trigger. And folks, those are the Microtech knives that I bought in 2019. Oh, I have a lot of knives to get through. I'm going to cover every one of the knives you see on the table. Some of the knives are on the table. You can't even see them. They're behind the camera, underneath the camera. But I'm going to do it in a number of different groups. So we'll get to it. I'm determined to get through all these knives to share what I did in 2019 with you. And I'm excited about getting all these knives on video too before I start trimming again. There you have it. If you enjoy this series, please give it a thumbs up. It just helps me to know that you appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your notifications so you don't miss what's coming your way. A lot of new videos. I'm using this series to start out some new stuff that'll be coming in 2020 to you. It'll be about knives, of course, and cigars and other stuff, but especially knives. But I'm just going to try to find new and interesting ways to introduce you to the new knives and to showcase some of the older ones. So please subscribe. And of course, I will be probably at the end of January, beginning of February, we will be trimming. I have a bunch of knives. And I'm expecting 2 new knives from Spyderco to come in probably in 3 or 4 days. And so we'll interrupt this. They will be the last 2 knives from 2019, brand new knives. So those are on the way. They're going to make it here before the new year. And there you have it. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to turn on notifications. And don't forget, this is more important than all of this, to take good care of yourself and your family. Let's make 2020, because we're going to have a lot of election nonsense. But let's make sure that all of us take care of each other and ourselves, all right? You take care. Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.